Call me crazy, but I'm starting to notice some patterns. This is kind of concerning AI and flock cameras, and it could be all sorts of things. Because they're using, this is what's dumb about the establishment, is they use sort of the same method, the same maybe couple of methods. Even if they're pushing from different directions, they use the same sort of methods. If you look at the attacks on, let's say, the Second Amendment, and you look at the whole flock camera thing, or mass surveillance, not just flock camera, cameras in general, and filming, and who you can film and when you can film, and AI, as they call it, which to me, and I admit I'm not very technical, but it seems a little strange that everything's getting called AI. Somebody makes a video on YouTube, and to me it's just like sort of computer animation. It's not real, it's some sort of animation, isn't it? I guess there's some sort of specific thing in there, but to me it looks like, and you can say this about the internet in general, you can say this about a lot of things in general, they take something that could be good, at least is okay for humanity, it's enjoyable, if not something that can make humanity better for everybody, and they make you hate it because they do something else with it. Good example, even if you're not a hunter, even if you're not counting on having to use the Second Amendment for other reasons, you know what I'm getting at, this is YouTube. Even if you're not planning on doing that, they're fun. They're, obviously, I mean, it would have to be, there's probably very few people who wouldn't find it to be kind of fun, and you know that because of video games. Because you have somebody who doesn't even own one, they play video games where they're going around just shooting everything. It's fun. So it's something that, you look at that, that's something that does humanity no harm because it's a fun thing. It can save your life, so that's a good thing. And then they have all these mass attacks, if you know what I mean, and just all the bad things that happen concerning the implements referred to in the Second Amendment. And you look at AI. I'm not as much of a home run on this as a lot of people are. Sadly, it's one of them things where overall you'd have to just completely get rid of it. Now, where that's a bad thing is you could have, because this sort of happens, you know, technology sort of proliferates and then it gets accessible to everybody. That can be a good thing and a bad thing. But you take, I mean, there's a lot of movies and things like that. There's stunt people who've been maimed and killed that you could use some kind of effects for. They don't have to, there's no reason to do that. You're doing a scene in a movie, there is no need to risk a person's life or limb doing some sort of stunt. I stand by, I will fight on that now. Oh, let's risk a person's life or have them maimed for life or missing limbs or something like that just to do some stupid stunt for a movie that somebody can sit there and eat popcorn to? No, not worth it. But further, if you can't afford to hire actors, I know this is a slippery slope, but if you're just a regular old person who works a 9 to 5 or something like that, 9 to 5s don't exist anymore, it'd be at least 9 to 6. But if you do, you can make a movie. If you got the creativity and the skills, you could make a movie with that. It's not that you're trying to skin actors and actresses, because if you have a real passion for that sort of thing, you're going to want to see them anyway. It's not any different than, really not that much different than doing a cartoon. Seriously. I think people went over the top with it. But I get what it's being used for. I get the evil that comes from it. Just like I get the evil that comes from, you know, weaponry. So it's not a black and white conversation at all. Uh, when it comes to these cameras, and that's where it kind of merges with AI, because they can put you in that stuff. That's the problem with it. They can put you in it. Now, on one hand, there's probably some people, and I wouldn't blame them for doing this. I know they've flirted with it before in the past. It's mostly with photographs, not video, where you can take a long lost loved one and put them in somewhere else, or you can take one of their old photographs and animate it. And I get that. I did that, got some little cheap thing on the phone, and I actually animated a picture of a dog that had passed on. It was heavy watching it, to say the least. So I get that, and I don't think that's morbid or anything like that. It's just all what you sort of need, and I don't necessarily think that the like the people it's passed on, I don't think that they would mind one way or the other. So it's what the establishment is doing is taking good things and perverting them, and then making people hate those things entirely when they shouldn't. Like the whole existence of them. It's kind of like the whole press thing. I mean, look how many liars that we have as far as reporters and news stations and newspapers and pollsters and everything else. All these things that are just completely dishonest. And what does that make you do? Your knee-jerk reaction is to hate the press. You shouldn't hate the press as an idea. Yeah, I've been a union member of a job or two, and that union sucked. Stabbed me right in the back. Worked for the corporation, basically. That doesn't mean that, and there's quite a few of them have done that, but that doesn't mean the idea of a union is a bad thing. And I think that they've been working on people like this a long time, because that's how they've went after a lot of these leftist ideas. You know, communism is one thing, but socialism, even that, they've went after it. They've gone after it because of accusations of it being misused. In some cases, the funny thing about those ideas is what they accuse communism and socialism, things like that, of doing, violates what communism and socialism is. And I'm saying this as a person who does not identify as one of those two things. I'm not ashamed to. Because this day and age, if you don't say that you're anti, you might as well say you are. I'm not saying that because I'm a person that likes to know conclusively what something is. If I'm stating it, I'm pretty sure of it. And I don't like to claim, oh, I'm such and such, and then, you know, people support me because they think that's what I am, and then I violate it. I go against it, and it disappoints them. I'm not trying to disappoint people any more than I usually do. But if you notice, that's been the trend all through society, and it has been happening more than a couple of decades, I'd say, where they've been taking something that is potentially good and then ruining it and making people hate it. You know, it's like, take a potato, you know, good food. Call me biased, but it's good food. And you could then take, there's this thing called a potato gun. You can start shooting that at people. You can start, you know, shoving it down people's throats, just hitting them with raw uncooked potatoes. You could make them eat rotten ones, keep those around the house. You could make them eat it every day. Pretty soon they're going to hate potatoes. So how that works. It's that sort of thing. And then they've gotten you to swear off something that's actually good and something that's nutritious and something that you need in your life. They've done that with a lot of things. They've done it with vehicles. We got people this day and age that, and I don't blame them for the mentality that's behind them, but they're completely against gas vehicles at all. And they're not thinking too far ahead. I mean, they come off as the people who are really thinking ahead, but they're actually not. We're being sort of herded. And I urge people to stop, stand still for a minute, and actually look around you and think. Am I being kind of nudged a direction? Because I think we are. And it's more of a bottleneck. You know, you got people being nudged over here this direction, people nudged over here that direction. Kind of like the whole body autonomy thing. They did it back to back. They went after abortion right around the same time as they're trying to force certain shots down people's throat, whether they want them or not. And then they had the liberals and conservatives responding expectantly, how they usually do, doing the same memes and just changing the wording back and forth and not catching on that you're both being duped. Body autonomy does not have exceptions. You stick to it as is. And now they're, I don't know if you're seeing this, I'm seeing it. They're talking about flock cameras have been linked to catching such and such of sexual predators. It's always them. It wasn't a guy who, stole a bike, hit a mailbox, a shooting or something like that, because they know where people are looking. There's been, before this happened, before this stuff started coming out, people were saying, but they can put all these up, but they haven't managed to catch a single sex trafficker or something like that. And all of a sudden now, they're catching them. Well, I'm assuming if you turn every single camera on every single corner in the United States, you're going to catch one occasionally. But that doesn't mean you need them to do that. I assume if you just start blanket carpet bombing certain areas, you're going to get some bad guys. That's the way that works. It doesn't justify the means. Like they wouldn't have been caught otherwise. Just the camera did it, huh? And you won't see too many details on that either. A camera somewhere in Iowina. Did you say Iowina? No. Yeah, it's not real. They're lying. And it shows you which side their bread is buttered on. Any news station that's really pushing that hard, cut them off. Cut them off. I don't care if they claim to be left or right or whatever else. They're not you. They're not on your side. Cut them off. Go somewhere else. So it's just a little bit just pointing out that these things are used to sort of stain our ideas on potentially good things that could benefit us. Obviously, cameras are doing me a little bit of good and might do me even more good. Security cameras are fine. People do trail cams, and it's not just for hunting. They see all sorts of things out there. It's kind of like these nature shows. They make their own little nature show. Cameras are a good thing. Computer animation / AI could be a very, very useful tool for people on a budget trying to be creative. And there's other means for it. The way it's being used, you'd have to completely get rid of it. I'm not against that, by the way. I hate it because of the way it's being perverted. And I have the feeling, maybe you do too, that if we're seeing it, and what we're seeing is pretty realistic, imagine what they can really do. Just think about that. Imagine what they can really do that they're not showing us. I mean, that makes you think too, how many commercials have you been watching where there's been real people? Are you sure? Was that a real voice? How many musicians could actually not really exist? How many politicians or any kind of famous people could actually, at the very least, not be where they're proposed to be? You think they are. Makes you wonder, and it makes you sound paranoid, and that's another defense. Because that's what we were raised on that. I don't know, I turned 43 this year. I kind of grew up on these people smoking cigarettes, and they got the newspapers on the wall behind them, and they're all jittery and nervous and everything, and they think everything's connected, all these crazy conspiracy ideas. So we instantly, as soon as we start bumping up against that, we're like, oh God. And it makes you want to kind of get back in line. I don't know. Some of those people may have been more right than we thought. Keep an open mind, folks. Keep an open mind. And watch out for each other.